So good morning to everyone. I am so excited to be here today, to be able to talk to you today. My name is Rachel G. I am the former tutor turned academic mentor behind theexperiencedgraduate.com. I have been a tutor for over 10 years, and in my 10 years of experience, I have tutored tons of teens in all different subjects, and I absolutely love tutoring teens and working with teens. And I wanted to share a little bit about my story. When I work with a lot of students, they come to me and say, wow, you know what? School must have been so easy for you. Excuse me. School must have been so easy for you, but it's not like that for me. It's so hard for me. And when I see a student, I say, you know what? I got to tell you my story. And not a lot of people know this about me, but I almost failed fifth grade. I My entire elementary school journey was filled with a lot of academic struggles, not being up to par with my peers, a lot of getting sent to the principal's office. When I was in fifth grade, I had the reading comprehension level of a second grader. All of this absolutely true story. And at the end of my fifth grade year, my teacher told my parents that he recommended that I be held back, that I do not go on to sixth grade. He said, because if I did go to sixth grade, I would fail so miserably that I would not pass. I would fail that class and I would have to be held back anyway, so might as well be held back in fifth grade. I went on to sixth grade and became the top achiever in my class every single year through senior year. My senior year, I graduated valedictorian of my high school class. I went on to college and I earned my undergraduate degree by age 20. I was inducted into the Business Honor Society as a sophomore, which is extremely difficult to do. I earned my graduate degree at age 22. And the reason I say all of this is because if you had looked at me, that fifth grader, that 10-year-old me, and said, wow, she went from failing fifth grade on to being valedictorian of her high school class. If anyone had looked into it, no one would have thought that from my fifth grade me. But I am here to tell you that it wasn't because I was super smart. I struggled, really, really struggled every day. But I pushed through it with learning a few different tips and tricks in the education system along the way. So that's why I love working with students, because I can tell you, I totally understand. It's not easy. It is hard. Education and learning is not going to be easy for everybody, but there are things we can do to learn better so that we can help ourselves to achieve more and learn more and get better grades. And so that's why I love working with students. So I would love to hear from you this morning, hear from you today. Did this story resonate with you? Please leave in the comments if you're joining us live today. I would love to hear from you. Is that the story of your teen? Maybe your teen or your preteen struggled this last year. Maybe they didn't get the grades they wanted. Maybe you saw them working really, really hard for their grades, but then they ended up not getting the grades they wanted or the grades they hoped for. Or maybe their input, their work effort didn't reflect the grades they should have gotten. Maybe you're here because you wanted your teen to do more, but every time you ask them, did you do your homework? Did you study for that next test? Maybe you were met with a little bit of friction and resistance from wanting your help. I see that a lot. Oh, Amy says, this totally resonates with my teens. Yes, I totally understand. Maybe you're a parent that's joining us today that says, you know, my kid did okay last school year, but I want to help them learn something this summer that they can be better prepared for next school year. And actually, since you're joining us, you know that the title of this is How to Help Your Teen Beat the Summer Slide. So we're going to talk about the summer slide, and we're going to get into the facts of why now is the best time to get the resources for your teen. So if you can totally relate to that, leave the comments. I'm reading and I am going through the comments as we go. If there's no other comments, I am going to start my presentation. I have a lovely little slides that I'm going to pull up. So give me 1 second to pull this up. Screen share. Yes. Okay. It looks like it's working. So I want to try to make this image bigger. Aha, there we go. Perfect. Okay. Hopefully y'all can still see me and I'm a big up in the right corner. So without further ado, let's get started. I'm so excited to be bringing this to you today. How to help your child beat the summer slide with study prep skills. Now, the first thing we got to talk about is, what is the summer slide? I'm sure you've heard this around a whole lot. Everybody's talking about summer slide, summer slide. I always heard it referred to as summer brain drain. Well, everybody's got to come up with these clever names, right? But the actual term for this is called summer learning loss. And with a term like that, it just sounds bad, right? It sounds bad because it is bad. And so I actually looked up the statistics on how much your teen loses over the summer. So if you're not familiar with summer learning loss is, it's basically the fact that if your teen or if your student, when I say teen, I mean anywhere from teen, pre-teen, I'm talking about your child. If your child goes the entire summer without any mental challenge or academic application to their lives, if they go the entire summer without any kind of studying or schooling, they lose what they learned in the school year. So how much do they lose? We're going to get into that. Summer learning loss, it sounds so bad. So let's dive in. Here is a fact that I found by a research organization published by nwea.org. They are research-based. They studied this extensively and have the facts behind it. And I quoted them. In the summer following third grade, students lose nearly 20% of their school year gains in reading and 27% of their school year gains in math. By the summer after seventh grade, students lose an average of 36% of their school year gains in reading and a whopping 50% of their gains in math. 50%, that's mind-blowing. In other words, here's the big point. Summer learning loss increases with age. So if your teen is older than seventh grade, maybe you have a preteen or a teen that's older than seventh grade, they could potentially lose even more than 50%. Let me break this down for you. If they have a school year of about 9 months long, all 9 months, they're having all this information crammed in their heads. They're studying, they're working hard, they're trying their best to learn. And then after those 9 months, they go on summer break for only 2 to maybe 3 months long. They can lose up to 50% of everything they just worked so hard for. That's crazy. That is so frightening almost. You know, you have that feeling of they're working so hard to get somewhere, and then all of a sudden they're losing it. And then they're starting off the next school year even further behind than when they finished the last school year. This is so important when we're talking about trying to help our teens. If your teen struggled last school year just to finish the school year, then they're already potentially a little bit behind. So if they go the entire summer without anything to help them continuing their learning or continuing a mental challenge for them, then they could potentially be, far behind. by the time the next school year starts. So what can we do? Here's the fact is that you need a summer resource for your teen. You absolutely need something this summer as a learning resource for your teen, right? Absolutely. If you want to retain that 50% that they've already worked so hard for, then we just got to keep it going. Now, I'm not saying going to school over the summer because that's just crazy pants, right? I'm not talking about strict schedule every day, pull out the textbooks. No, 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 no. Our teens deserve a break too. I'm not talking about anything strict learning. I'm talking about a resource that they can maybe use once a week, that they can pick up, that can give them a mental challenge that they can work towards, right? That's not too tough to ask of our teens or our preteens or our kids. That should be manageable. So where can we find these summer resources? A lot of parents may be saying, where do I find these resources? Where do I even start? Where do I even begin to look? Should I ask my school? I would say, don't ask your schools. Your schools, school systems usually will pawn you off to the next person so they don't have to deal with you. Sorry, that's the honest truth. If you get to know me, you'll find out that I give the hard, honest truth. A lot of schools don't super care about whether they're the ones that teach your kid. They just want, to shuffle your kid along a lot of times. Isn't that how we feel? If you feel the same way, just let me know in the comments. Say, I totally feel like that. I work with parents all the time that feel that they just get shuffled off. So where do we find the resources if we shouldn't ask the schools? The first resource a lot of parents ask me about is summer school. And here's what I have to say about summer school. No, absolutely not. Don't even go there. And here's why. Summer schools. I used to work at a summer school. I have a lot of insider knowledge and behind the scenes view of what a summer school looks like. And here's the hard, honest truth about summer school. If you can, avoid it at all costs. And here's why. Summer school costs a lot of money, like a lot. When I worked at the summer school, a parent could sign their teen up for 2 classes at one time. So they had the morning session and the afternoon session. Each class cost $500. Every single parent that was enrolling their kid had to sign up for at least 2 failed classes, right? So they were signing up for 2 classes. So they were dropping $1,000 for their kid to go to summer school for 1 month, for 4 weeks. $1,000 for 4 weeks for 2 classes. It wasn't even, it's not even a full schedule. It's just 2 classes. And here's the other huge factor that we have to know. Absolutely no learning actually takes place in summer school. None, 0. I can attest. I have seen these students come in, learn absolutely nothing, and the teacher gives them the A because, okay, here's the thing. 2 things. 1, the summer school place that you're signing up for, the actual summer school system, they don't care about your kids learning. All they care about is taking your money and shuffling your kid through. That's the hard, honest truth. They don't care whether your kid learns. They just want to take your money and shuffle them along, give them whatever grade. They don't even care if your kid passes at all. They just give them a grade, send it on. They didn't care. And the other thing is teachers don't care. The schools don't care. The teachers don't care. Why? Teachers are in summer school mode. I've seen teachers that taught almost absolutely nothing the entire class. For example, since it's so shortened, the teachers are supposed to kind of go over like a couple weeks worth of learning in one single day. But in summer school, happens all the time. Teacher doesn't want to teach because they're on summer break mode. They play a movie throughout the entire morning because they didn't want to teach that morning. And then they just give them a big old A. So this is a huge reason I say, whatever you can, avoid summer school at all costs. Like really, no learning occurs at all. Now, if your teen failed a class and they have to retake it in order to move on to next year. I understand that's just know that your kid's not actually going to learn anything when they go to summer school for that purpose. It's sad. It's the hard truth. But I'm here to give you the hard truth. I'm here to be honest with you. That's why you want to hear from me, because I'm the first thing you should know is I am a student advocate only. I'm not a teacher advocate. If a teacher's not doing what they're supposed to be doing, I'm the person that will call them out. And that's why parents want to work with me. So where is the next place we can actually find resources for our kids this summer? And you might be thinking, okay, summer school is not a good option. Where's a good program? Maybe I can go with a private tutor. And to that, I would say, I got my if you can see the little video, my Oprah face. Like, no, don't do it. And here's why. A lot of people look at me when I tell them don't hire a tutor, they look at me and say, what are you talking about? Aren't you a tutor? Why would you tell me not to hire a tutor? And here's the thing. Yes, I am a tutor. I love working with teens. It is so much fun for me. But here's the thing. There's a problem with tutoring. The problem with tutoring is that tutoring itself is like putting a Band-Aid. It's just covering up the problem. It's not solving the real problem. So you're saying, what is the real problem? I worked with so many students over the last 10 years, and every single student I've ever worked with has had difficulty in the class. But no matter which student I worked with, it didn't matter what class they were struggling in. It wasn't that they were struggling learning it. It wasn't that they weren't smart. These students were smart. It wasn't that they weren't hardworking. These students were hardworking. It wasn't that they were lazy, because like I said, they wanted to get a good grade. They wanted to work hard towards that grade. The underlying problem with every single student I found was that they did not have the right skills to do well in school. And so after seeing this repeated over and over for every single student, I realized, wow, there's a gap in the learning, that these teens are coming to high school and don't have these skills that they need to do well in school. So I'm thinking, well, you don't actually need a tutor. Your kid doesn't actually need a tutor to sit with them, to hold their hand, to say, let's work on this math problem together. 2 + 2 is 4. No, they don't need that. What your teen needs is just someone to show them how to use these certain skills to apply it to school so that they can learn to do well on their own. And once I had this realization, I realized, wow, tutoring does not fix the problem. Tutoring is a Band-Aid on the problem. And here's the thing. If you've ever hired a tutor, let me know. Say it in the comments. If you've ever hired a tutor, what happens next? Let's say this one school year, you hire the tutor. The grade goes back up. You're thinking, all right, next school year, what happens? Your kid starts to struggle again, and they need a tutor again, because tutoring didn't solve the underlying problem, which was that they didn't have the right skills for academic success. So what can we do? And here's what I suggest. The absolute best thing you can do to help your teen is to teach them these skills. Teach them these skills. And once they have the skills for success, they can apply it every single day and be able to do well. So what are these skills that they absolutely have to have academic success? I call these the academic skills. I'm going to give them right to you. So pull out pen and paper, write these down so that you know exactly what you need to be teaching your kid. Let's go over them. These are the 7 most important skills your kid needs. Study skills, organization, learning skills, time management, note-taking, motivation, self-advocacy, and communication with people. These are skills that I was seeing repeatedly when I worked with students, that I was seeing constantly that they lacked. They didn't always lack all 7. Let me say that again. Your teen may not lack all 7, but all it takes is a struggle in 1 or 2 of these areas that could be the potential problem. Maybe maybe all you need to do is teach your teen one or two of these skills that is a problem area, teach that to them, and then they'll be able to take that skill and use it repeatedly on their own. So here's an analogy I love to use. If you are you're a parent going on an interview. If you're going to an interview, you sit down with the interviewer, question and answer back and forth. You answer a lot of questions. And after, let's say, a 30-minute interview, you realize, oh no, I don't have any of the skills necessary for this job. Do you think that employer will hire you? No, absolutely not. No employer is going to hire you if you don't have the skills for that job. So tell me this, why is it we send our kids to school, but they are not equipped with the skills that they need for the job, basically? Our school systems are not teaching these skills, but yet when your kid sits down for class, the teacher is throwing information at them and expecting them to have the skills for the job, right? How can we just expect our kids to do well if no one in the school system is teaching them the skills to do well? Like, this is crazy pants to me. So this is why I teach now how to help your teen with these skills. We've got to emphasize having the right skills for the job, and their job is to do well in school, to learn in school. So I want to go over these skills again. We're going to go one by one and talk about these. Pull out a pen and paper, write these down. I'm not going to hide these from you. We're going to go over each one of them today. So I want to ask you about your teen or your teens or your tween. I want to ask you, do they have good study skills? Does your teen wait till the night before a test to study? Do they study every day after school, or just cram for 6 hours the night before and lose sleep, taking the test on little sleep? Let me know. Tell me. I'd love to hear. Does your teen have good organization? Do they make sure to write down every assignment and track every assignment and essay and project? Do they start early enough to work on it? Do they lose assignments sometimes? Or maybe they forget to write it down and not turn it in because they forgot about it. Again, it's not that your teen was lazy, or it's not that they didn't want to do it. It's just that they forgot to write it down. They forgot to do it. Maybe they lost it. Does your teen have the right learning skills? Maybe they're trying to study because their teacher told them to use flashcards, but they're not a visual learner. Maybe they're an auditory learner. Do they have good time management? Do they wait till the night before an assignment, a big project is due, to start on the project, 9 p.m., the night before it's due, and they're starting this project? Hello, does this resonate? I know so many parents are saying, yes, I've had my kid that has come to me at 9 p.m. at night saying, I need help, and then you end up staying up past midnight trying to finish it. I hear this story all the time. That's time management. Note taking. Answer me this. Does your teen even take notes? Let's be honest. Do they take notes in every single class? Are they able, if your child's teacher is speaking 100 words a minute, are they able to still take good notes? Motivation. Does your teen have the motivation to want to get that A without being rewarded with money or a car or whatever? Do they have that drive and that motivation to want to do well, not just because they didn't fail? There's a lot of teens that, well, I just don't want to fail. So they settle for the C when they could have got the A. Self-advocacy. This is one that I teach that I don't see very many other people teach, because this one was so important and impactful to me. Self-advocacy and good communication with people. This is something that a lot of teens need to learn. So answer me this. Does your teen feel comfortable going to the teacher saying, look, I don't understand it. I have a question about this. Could you explain it to me better? Does your team feel comfortable if in the middle of class raising their hand saying, I still don't understand, I have a question, could you please answer the question? Do they feel comfortable with that? These are the type of skills that your team needs to have in hand in order to do well for the school year. So now that we've gone through all of them, I'd love to hear from you. Does your team have some of these skills? Maybe a few? Which ones are they lacking? But here is the best part. The real benefit is that these skills, yes, they will help them for right now for the school year or the school year that just finished. If we get them to learn it now, they'll have these skills for the next school year. But there's an even better part. Your team will have these skills then to go on to college and do well in college. These skills are the same skills that your team will need in college. These skills are the same skills your team will need on their first job. When they show up to their first job, do you think there's going to be on the job, on-site training, on-site learning and education, further education for that career field? Absolutely. Of course there will be. And these are the same skills that they will need for college, for their first job, for their second job, for their third job, and on and on and on. For the rest of their lives, they will need these skills for any job, for any career field that they need, because we're always learning. We're always going to be learning and improving ourselves. And that's something that is also a skill that we can teach our teens. So that is the end of my slides, but we're not done yet. I still have more, but I'm going to stop sharing. Let me see. Okay. Hopefully y'all can still see me. So now that I've shared with you a bit about these skills, I want to go back to my story. The reason that these skills were so impactful to me in my story, I told you earlier that I almost failed 5th grade, but everything changed when I went to 6th grade, because in that 1 year, I went from almost failing to being the absolute top of my class. And what changed? The number one thing that changed for me was learning these skills. I had a few adults teach me these skills. Once I learned these as a skill, I was able to apply them every single year throughout my academic career, so that no matter what class I met, no matter what challenge I was met with, no matter what academic struggle I had the skills to overcome it. I had the skills that I needed to equip myself with learning, with success. And so that's what I wanted to show you today. So I'd love to hear from you. Does this ease some of your pain and your worry, knowing that it doesn't have to be as hard as we make it? Now, imagine giving your child the tools to be able to overcome any academic challenge. How would that feel? Leave it in the comments. I'd love to hear from you. This is about thriving over surviving. I want to teach you and your teen how to do that for yourself for the rest of your life. I put this all together for you inside the Essential Skills for Academic Success course, which gives you the video lessons for each skill, plus all of the workbooks, the trackers, the calendars, and the planners that your child needs for academic success. This course is usually priced at $5.99 in the school year, but today I'm going to give you an exclusive offer that is better than that. But I know what you and your team need more than strategy is accountability and support. So I paired this course together with a year-long subscription to my Academic Accelerators membership for parents for the price of $300. where you will get direct access to me to ask questions, get feedback, weekly live video lessons, bi-weekly live Q&As, monthly live webinar trainings, monthly guest expert trainings, and daily support and encouragement for your parenting journey through these tough teen years. So I sell the course for $5.99. I sell the year-long membership for $300. To buy these separately, it would cost $900. But because I want to bring this to you for the summer, for this summer program, I want to help you get your teen completely equipped with everything that they need in order to have an amazing school year next year so that they don't have to struggle again like they did last year. So I'm combining these together for only $300. So you're basically getting the course for free and getting the support with it. Combined only $300. That's less than $1 a day for the support that your child needs. I'm going to drop the link in the side comments so that you can click on it and go over and check it out. If you're watching the replay, go ahead and click the button beneath and it'll send you over so that you can check out this exclusive offer. So think about it. Let me for a second drop that link in so you can go check it out. There is the link. Click on it. Go check it out. So think about it. Something attracted you here today. Something told you it shouldn't be this hard. And I'm here to tell you, you're right. Together, you and I are going to give your teen the gift of these lifelong skills and a community of support for you. I can't wait to meet you and your teen inside the Essential Skills for Academic Success program.